Yeah, we could start this for a minute and just get ready. Share to our profile. We'll give it what? They can hear us. What if they can't hear us? This is just awkward. You can keep it.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Splitting Twigs. This is episode number 25 now.
Yeah.
That's what, a quarter of a century right now? 25 years? No. Episode 25 today, coming to you live with our special guest and close friend, Ryan Phillips. We got to know Ryan about a year ago, and his journey, his life that he's been through is an incredible story, and I can't wait for him to come on to share it with everybody. He was a star hockey player coming up the ranks. He had some challenges throughout his life, and boy, did he really overcome those challenges. And he's even been featured on a National Geographic show that they actually did just for him. And I think after this episode, we'll be able to post that out to everybody so y'all can check it out. But without further ado, Chase and I would like to welcome in all the way from Canada, Ryan Phillips.
Hey guys,
Welcome in, Ryan. Good. How you doing?
Twigs. I'm doing absolutely wonderful. I am extremely grateful to be on one of the best podcasts in the world.
We are trying our best. We're definitely growing. So Ryan, tell everybody a little bit about yourself, you know, where you grew up, how you came into hockey, and about your background a little bit.
Well, I grew up in North Vancouver, up in the mountains. So I've said this many times on quite a few shows. Total nature boy at heart. You know, my playground was the forest, and then at the age of 2, my dad had me on skates. I think I was born with a hockey stick in my hand, and you know, hockey took precedence, above soccer and basketball and every other sport, and you know, just like so many Canadian boys and now American kids and, you know, kids all over the world, you know, the dominating dream was definitely hockey. Oh, and just that aspect of team, you know, being on a team from an early age, and just the creativity and, you know, just the dreams of watching, you know, my idols, Gretzky, Lemieux, Yzerman, you know, the list goes on. Hearing stories about my dad talking about Bobby Orr, Jean Beliveau. And then, you know, I left home at 16 to go play junior. And I would say, unfortunately, but fortunately, because I believe everything happens for a reason, you know, that first year of my eligibility to be drafted, I suffered a really, really serious concussion. That kind of knocked me down the rankings, wasn't drafted. Unfortunately, the next year, I broke my collarbone in half, got bypassed again. A lot of adversities, as life is. You know, we learn from adversity and challenges. It's what it's all about. You know, it hindered my growth as a hockey player. And, but, you know, like I said, everything happens for reasons. And, you know, one moment leads to another moment. One event leads to another event. And then, which leads us into this conversation right now. So, you know, lots of awesome memories, great guys, a few bad memories. But you know what? You chalk that up to experience, and then, you know, use those adversities to help try to teach others that, you know, there's no right or wrong way, but I believe that, you know, hazing, bullying, all that kind of stuff, there's no place for that in the game. So
I agree 100%. I agree with that 100%. And I don't know if you've seen that pop up or not, but Sandra Murray says hello from the Prospect Camp in Traverse City. Definitely great to see you, Ryan. Sandra says hello.
Oh, hello, Sandra. How you doing, also, Sandy? I hope Sandy's well. Yeah, she's a wonderful lady.
Also, you said that the new craze is to become a player in the show. I definitely feel like hockey as a sport this past year has become bigger than it has been in a very long time.
Yeah, I mean, it's mainstream. It's huge. It's glamorous. These guys are getting paid astronomical dollars, to chase a rubber disc around, which is amazing. But at the same time, it's the game's changed a lot. A lot for the positive, but a lot of stuff has come to the surface as well. A lot of players speaking very openly about things that happened in the past, older players that are taking a lot of responsibility of shedding light and putting a positive influence on the lives of younger players coming up through the ranks. So
absolutely,
a guy like the sheriff Sean McMorrow, who's a guy with you guys, awesome dude.
Checking in.
I have nothing but respect for the sheriff. He's doing such a great job. His enthusiasm, what a guy. So yeah, definitely.
His show's awesome. We just had him and his brother Danny on the other day, and I think that went for like an hour and 20 minutes. We really could not stop talking. Like Sean,
I couldn't imagine the sheriff not wanting to stop talking. Yeah, it's exactly. I mean, he's got a lot to say.
Sean is such a great guy, and so is his brother.
He's the kind of guy you just really want on your side. He's such a team guy. I just like his energy is infectious, absolutely infectious. I have nothing but the highest regards for the sheriff, and him and I go back and forth, and we talk here and there, and I'm looking forward to when things kind of smooth out a little bit. I get to go have a sleepover and take the bottom bunk on his bunk bed at his mom's house.
There you go, from the sheriff. He loves all of us. Sheriff, we love you back, and we're glad you're watching.
All right, brother.
So, Ryan, you talked about a couple injuries when you were younger, and as everybody's well aware, Chase had his injuries and his fair share, but the concussion and the collarbone, what was the main difference between the two, and how did you bounce back to continue on your career? Because you played up in Washington and Tacoma, didn't you?
Yeah, well, that's where, it was 7 games into the season. I remember it was my third shift of the game, about, 6 or 7 minutes into the game, something like that, as I don't really remember a lot of what happened afterwards. Cutting towards the net, and, just one of those things. I caught an edge, was cross-checked into the boards. Luckily, I wasn't paralyzed. Broke the shoulder in 3 places, dislocated it, and but little did I know, being out for about a minute and I think it was about a minute and 15 seconds around there, and I was hearing "get up, get up." As my dad always told me, "Get up after an injury," kind of thing. If you're down, just get up. I got up, made my way to the bench. Shoulder dropped. Head was seeing stars. I don't really remember much other than being, I actually jumped back on the ice for another shift to try, but it was too much pain. Had the jersey cut off, to the hospital, but this was treated, the shoulder and all that, the injury on the shoulder sides.
Right.
But my concussion was never treated. And something happened after that where, there were symptoms that came in and I didn't know what was going on. I was seeing differently. there was just different things that were going on that, cognitively, where I could think so clearly at times, but then, I couldn't remember what I did 10 seconds before that. It was the concussions have definitely been a huge story of my life. Apparently I've taken 50 plus, concussions along my physical trail on this planet. So, but you know what? I just do my best to attack it with just, being positive, eating right, getting exercise in. Sometimes it's, being on that fight or flight, which is, obviously being in the flow of life, kind of gets, stagnated with, the energy in my brain. But, I'm working with one of the top neuroscientists in Canada right now. So, we've seen a lot of positive stuff come out of this. I wish I was diagnosed a lot earlier, that, it was as severe as it was, I knew innately that it was a lot worse than probably what I didn't want to believe. But, hockey isn't everything. To me these days, it's a beautiful game. it's such a close place, in my heart, but it's beyond the game, beyond the game, the relationships, how we hold ourselves as human beings, especially in these times of drastic change. Community, unity, friendships, being honest, loyal. We've all made our mistakes in life, but, these are times where, we can right our wrongs. We can actually, just the littlest things of just giving a smile to someone else, holding a door open, hold one door open for one person. Next thing you know, you have a door open for you. There's always opportunity in chaos. And, the United States, you guys are next door neighbors. Sometimes I think we should just be one country with no borders.
Yeah, exactly.
It would make travel a lot easier for you hockey kids, eh?
Yeah, that's very true.
Speaking of traveling with hockey kids, Chase is playing his first out-of-town roadie coming up next month. He's flying to Chicago with his team, and mom and dad aren't going to be there. We get to sit home because, the team doesn't really allow us to interact with him when he's on the road, so we're going to kind of give him his first chance. But do you remember your first road trip, what it was like, and what that first time away from mom and dad was about?
Oh my God. You know what? That's so crazy. I just as you say that, I remember it just like it was yesterday. It was novice. I was 9 years old. I was playing for the North Shore Winter Club in North Vancouver. And it was, we had a road trip down in Seattle, and we blew them out of the water like 15-1 or something like that. I think we let them score a goal. And this is when, hockey wasn't as big down on the south side of the border before Gretzky changed a few things, maybe. And I remember it was a 2-game series. So the next day, my dad was the coach, and he was like, why don't we, I had to go, he goes, why don't we give you my son will go play on your team and then play against my own team. So, and we actually won. but whatever, I mean, those were the days. I mean, God, you would have to literally yell and scream and yank me off the ice. I just never wanted to get off. It was just, all I wanted to do was just play and just do what I could do. It was just, the canvas out there. It was like art. So
that's definitely amazing. I definitely understand that. Hockey's such a fun sport. It's so much fun to play.
Well, let's see what Sandra says here. Sandra chimes in. Splitting Twigs is the best hockey podcast when you're listening to Chase and Ryan and watching the Dallas Stars and Toronto Maple Leafs prospects drop the puck at the same time. Sandra, we are all very envious of you and where you are at right now. And we are very, very glad that you've made your recovery from COVID and stuff and that you're on the right track. So we are definitely here with you.
Yeah, absolutely. I send my utmost heartfelt everything to anyone who's suffering right now from COVID, from any health issues at all, due to the stressors that all play into the factors of, what's going on globally. There's 8 billion people plus in this world right now. How can we not be affected with the vibration of fear that's rippling over the masses? There's so many things that are, with the mandates and different rules here and there and whatnot. That's why it's just, I think, so important to be really gentle on each other. Number one, be gentle on yourself. And, there's a lot of time for a lot of self-reflection as well. And just, really being grateful for everything that we have. You got a roof over your head, be grateful for that. You're getting fed every day, be grateful for that. Everything else, like hockey, sports, your friendship, it's just all bonus. It's our relationships that are tight and the people that we really trust means so much in these times. And just, I do my best. I really do, from my heart, to at least just try to make someone's day every day. It's not that hard to put a smile on somebody's face. Even if you have a mask on, you can kind of rip it down real quick and then put it back. So.
I know it's so hard when I'm at school because all my friends wear masks, and I look at my friends and I'm trying to see their facial expression because I'll tell them a joke and I can't tell if they're laughing or not or what's happening, and it's so difficult to read facial expressions because there are none.
Well, you always know when I'm joking around because my nostrils always flare. And yeah, so and I usually I know I'm a bad boy sometimes, and I don't wear my mask like perfectly because I have a really tough time breathing out of them.
Yeah.
And so if my nostrils are kind of flaring, usually I can sometimes for some weird way get a smile out of someone.
Sandra definitely agrees. Said, thank you so much, guys. I hope the pandemic doesn't negatively impact hockey. Yes, gratitude and kindness is what the world needs more of, and I think Ryan absolutely hit that on the head.
Oh yeah, I definitely get that. Yeah, and again, if anybody ever needs anything who's watching this podcast, you can always talk to any of us on the show.
Yeah, and feel free to reach out, even on Instagram or whatnot. I'm not on Facebook at the moment. I'm taking a Facebook break. But my handle, you can leave it. It's Ryan Phillips 888. Reach out to me on Instagram. And if there's anything I can do, I get a lot of DMs, but if there's anything I can do to help, I try to make myself available, as I believe that's my responsibility as a human being. Is that it's all about contribution. At the end of the day, it's what we give with our heart and our character and our integrity, and no competition. These are days where I believe that keep the competition on the ice, keep the competition, and with sports and whatnot. But as far as who gives a shit about how many followers, Instagram and social media and all this kind of stuff. So people become so cling to their identities and whatnot. And that's, we can go even beyond that as far as like with hockey or what you even do for a living. What you do for a living, hockey, baseball, paperboy, whatever, doesn't define you. You define you. And, if you live by by your own truth, and you have your value system is strong, and you have empathy for other people, I think that you're on the right track.
Yeah,
That's my humble opinion.
I wholeheartedly agree. And yeah, just like Ryan was saying, if anybody ever needs anything, feel free to DM us on Instagram and we'll get back to you. I mean, as soon as possible. And if you guys just need anything, even if you guys just want to talk to somebody, we're always here for y'all.
100%. It's all about talking, and like these are times where people they are suffering economically, emotionally, mentally, emotionally, spirits, the whole 9 yards. So, it's important that just that one person, that one day, it causes a ripple effect. Just try to keep it positive, keep it real. Yeah. And just try not to sugarcoat the situation. And, because maybe it is that bad, or maybe it's not that bad, or maybe they just have to hear that, yeah, I've been through that too. And this is how I got through it, learning from adversity. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, getting back onto the hockey theme and stuff.
Yeah.
What did you think about the Lightning going back to back? You remember? I don't know if it was when I was talking to you, but way before the 2020 season even started, I said, "I'm telling you right now, Lightning are going back to back."
Yeah, tell me. And I said, and I agreed.
Yeah. It was amazing. I loved that the Lightning won again. I don't know if they could do it a third time. That'd be pretty cool. But there's a lot of new young talent coming in. Like hopefully Cole Caulfield, he's a really good player. But I really hope that he more solidifies himself on the spot as a really good player, because I think he is a really good player. And then like the time flies, because I was looking on Instagram and it's going to be Connor McDavid's 7th NHL season.
Jesus.
I know. Isn't it unreal? I was waiting. It seemed like it was like a year ago. I was waiting 2 years to watch him play his first game.
Yeah.
Now he's coming up on his 7th season. Is life moving that quick? Or
I know. It's just so insane. And I mean, Connor McDavid, what a player. Yeah. I mean, a shortened season, and he still got a little bit over 100 points. Like
incredible. Absolutely incredible. Like Gretzky-like numbers, pretty much. In today's game, when there's just so much talent, there's so many players that are just like unbelievably skilled. I mean, you take a team like Tampa. Kucherov. The list goes on. I a few friends down there in Florida, and they said it was just electrifying. The whole playoffs was, that whole run again. was just, I couldn't imagine. I was up here in the Great White North, going through another playoff less season with the Vancouver Canucks, who I'm not a huge fan of the Canucks, to be honest with you. Anyways, so I was rooting for Tampa. I'm glad they won, and I think they could three-peat, to be honest with you. So
I think they could, but I think it might be a little bit more tough because there's a lot of really good players. Hold up, give us one.
Oh, you're good. Keep going.
Oh wait, never mind. We're good. Sorry, having a little bit of brother difficulties. He's kind of being a little loud downstairs. But yeah, like you were saying, I mean, there's just so much talent and so much depth on the Lightning. Like, I mean, they have some of the best players in the league, and it's just insane how good they are. And I kind of think that they lost that third or fourth game against the Canadians on purpose so that they could win it in their hometown.
yeah,
Because if you looked at it, they were kind of playing, but they weren't. Made it a close game, and then they absolutely creamed them the next game. And
yeah,
they
total annihilation.
Oh yeah, and they destroyed them every game before that. And I think like it just doesn't make sense that they lose and then come back and just absolutely railroad them. It's just insane.
100%.
Yeah. I've been looking at a couple videos from the Coyotes, and I've seen a little bit more depth. Like they have some young talent that hopefully can put it together, but I don't know if they're going to be that good because I mean it's the Coyotes.
Well, you never know. You never know. You never know how the puck bounces. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah.
Welcome Tampa Bay to the back to the.
You can read it out loud. You don't got to whisper it.
You read that.
Welcome Tampa Bay to the back-to-back club with 97 and 98 wings. Ironically, Steve Yzerman, as GM, was responsible for creating the Tampa Bay roster that won those two cups, and of course is the captain for the Wings. Sandra is a diehard through and through fan of the Red Wings.
Well, I tell you, I watched Steve Yzerman play live many times in my life, and in my mind, no greater leader. I met him in person. Wonderful person. But I mean, leader of all leaders. Throw him with Crosby and Lemieux, Gretzky. I mean, Stevie Y. I mean, could do it at both ends of the rink. I mean, how a guy could go from I think it was 600-point seasons in a row, and then Scotty Bowman, hopped in and he basically transmuted his game into like an offensive defensive force where, I mean, I remember watching him play in Dallas, and I was like, this guy's blocked more shots than every defenseman on the team. He was doing it all at both ends of the rink. And I think he had 2 goals that night too. And they won 3-2 because I remember losing one of my cowboy boots in the parking lot on the way to the bus because I had too many beers in the stands. So there's another thing I'd like to address about the whole with my story. Obviously it's been I think over 100 million people have seen it on National Geographic now. So my days as an international marijuana smuggler, that came after hockey, didn't pan out the way I wanted it to pan out. So I had to start a new team, and that was, obviously, it was a big, shipping empire going across from, Canada to the United States, fueling the pipeline with marijuana to the U.S. And I just want to say to all those kids out there, I sound like Don Cherry for crying out loud. Stay away from drugs, and don't drink until you're until you can handle it, and even to fit in, just being used enough. For me, leaving home at 16, I felt like I had to fit in, so I had to drink, and I allowed a lot of these players to kind of dictate, my fitting in ways. I didn't know how. The guy who was second next older to me was late 17, 18. I'm young. I just turned 16, and everyone's drinking and partying and smoke. It was just that life. It was just that culture back then. But my message for all of you kids out there is, if you're going to experiment, really make sure don't experiment until you really know, like I know cannabis has a lot of, medicinal advantages. It does, with the CBD and everything like that, which I'm a strong proponent for. Huge healing properties, even with concussions and other inflammatory diseases and whatnot. But, as far as, hard drugs and all that kind of stuff, which, got a grip with me for a couple of years that I overcame, stay away. It's not the real stuff anymore. So yeah, I have a daughter that's, gone through a real hard time with hard drugs. She's in the US, I'm here. Her mom and I split up at a very young age. So, I've had to see her go through her trials and tribulations, a 3-year battle with methamphetamines. Any chemical that you put in your body that's not natural is just not going to be of any benefit whatsoever. And we may think it's fun, when we're young, but, the ramifications that it can have, not only at a young age with all the overdoses that we're seeing, especially in Canada, globally. I'm so anti-drug. I just, so there's my 2 cents worth.
Absolutely. We all stand beside you too. I mean, there's really no place for anything that's really mind altering when you're playing a sport as serious as hockey, and you can't bring that into the sport and expect the sport to behave. And, one show I remember watching, and this is probably the first time I watched you talk, that really got me interested in your story and everything is the bullying. Like, I don't really know if we need to go into specifics about the bullying you've experienced. I've heard some pretty graphic stories, but what can these kids do nowadays, or how do we change that culture? How do we get away from the bullying in the locker room and on the road trips and stuff to get the sport back to where it can be enjoyable?
Well, I think it all starts at the top. Starts, with management, having a solid discussion with the coaches, and the parents having the confidence with the management and the coaches to give the right message to these kids. We have to remember that it's a team game, and no one should feel any less than another player. It's all about chemistry. We win as a team, we lose as a team. And if you're, bullying or, making someone feel less than, then, how's that person supposed to, that individual, so to speak? I mean, I was scared out of my wits to even walk into the locker room at 16, 17. And it became almost like a blueprint pattern subconsciously, that it was like, okay, well, I allowed myself to kind of get treated this way without saying too much. And I didn't want to let my dad down. Number one, I didn't want to let myself down.
Right.
But I think that, these coaches these days, and I think it's happening, they need to have solid discussions right off the get-go, with these kids' brains that aren't fully developed, and which even goes back to the whole marijuana thing. Men's brains aren't fully developed till 21, 22. So, smoking weed at 16, 17, 18 up till then isn't a good thing, so I really think that it starts, at the top, goes into the coaches. And if players are being bullied, it's not like ratting out, because sometimes I wish I did say something. I never said anything about it, up until maybe a few years back and whatnot. But, what that can have on our psyche of feeling, less than, is not a good feeling, especially when you're trying to excel at something that you love so much, and that's been your dominating dream.
Right. And Sandra agrees too. She says all her athletes have to be free of all substance use, and she has zero tolerance for bullying and hazing. And I stand 1,000% beside her. But let me ask you this, Ryan.
Yeah.
You've experienced some of the extreme cases of bullying that you talked about a little bit. How did that impact you on the ice? I mean, I know you said that you were afraid to step in the locker room, but how did that affect your gameplay? Because you were a rising star.
Well, yeah, that it's funny that you say that, because, you see yourself ranked, by, Central Scouting. You're told that you're going to go in these rounds. You're putting up all the points, leading into junior. You'll have a good game, where you score 2 or 3 points for whatever. Then the next game you're in the stands or something or whatever, because your coach is playing games with you or whatever. Like they literally at that point, this is going back, 20 plus years ago,
Right.
the coaches had your career in their hands, where now it's become a little bit different with the agents, with the parents getting more involved, which I believe is a huge factor. But I mean, how did I cope? Is that the
well,
question?
how did it affect your play on the ice? I mean, so instead of going on the ice and thinking, okay, I got to get this pass to this player and make this shot, was the bullying weighing more on your mind than your gameplay on the ice?
Oh, it affected my play on the ice huge, because I was always looking back at the coach, seeing if I was making a mistake or not. I was afraid to make plays. Like I was always a really creative player. Like I love to stick handle fast and do like moves. I grew up. Paul Correa was one of my better buddies growing up in hockey, and so Paul and I playing together. Brendan Morrison, that's like my era, and so I guess it put a lot of fear into me, where I was like afraid to do things that would come so easy to me before. I didn't want to screw up because of how maybe the players and the coach would judge me. And that's just kind of the way it went for me. And a lot of players that, they went through that. I'm not the only person, but I think things are, taking a turn for the better. I know there's still stories out there, and there's a lot of kids that feel that they got to make someone feel bad to make them feel good. But, karma's bitch sometimes. It usually comes around and pokes you in the butt.
Yeah. And we talked yesterday or 2 days ago with Sheriff a little bit, and I'm going to let Chase explain this a little bit more, but have you heard about all the rule changes to USA Hockey now? The rule changes that went into effect this year are really going to affect the game, and I'll let Chase elaborate a little bit more on those.
Okay, so some of the rules are like there's no more finishing checks, even at like my age. So like I play 16U, and there's no more finishing checks. Like you have to lead with your stick and kind of bump the person off the puck. You can't like actually like hit somebody, like because you know how like sometimes you'll have your stick like by your waist and then you just blow somebody up who's coming right up the wall. You can't do that anymore. You'll get kicked out of the game. And then if you get a 5-minute major, so any majors, you're automatically kicked out of the game. So like if you get like a charging major, you're automatically kicked out. A butt ending, kicked out. Anything like that.
Good.
And then there's no delayed offsides anymore. No icing on penalty kill, and your stick has to be like 75 inches.
Those sound like really good rules to me. Now, if those rules were implemented when I was playing, I don't think I ever would have sent a pound of weed across into your country.
Exactly.
But whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and experience, in my opinion, creates a little bit of wisdom that we're able to pass down, and that's, like I said, I'm actually I'm kind of itching to get on the ice and get a good sweat. Maybe it's just myself going out there with a puck or something like that. Whatever, I don't play any organized hockey anymore. Pickup, my focus has kind of gone towards other things in life. Although, there's still a huge spot in my heart, from the game of hockey. My close knit group of friends all played hockey. So,
right.
It's just kind of the way she goes, right?
Yeah, that's understandable. And the season for outdoor rinks is kind of coming back up for Canada, though, right?
Not so much here in Vancouver. There's it's not that cold, but if you get out to Ontario and Quebec and Saskatchewan, you head out east there a little further, and it's get the outdoor rinks.
Yeah,
I miss that. I love being on the outdoor rink. It's a lot of fun.
I've only been on one.
Freedom.
Huh?
Complete freedom.
Oh yeah, I've never been on one. I've only been on. Well, I've been on one in Colorado, but I've never played hockey on one.
Well, one day soon. You never know.
Yeah, I hope
maybe
so.
Maybe we'll have to have a minor hockey league outdoor challenge or something like that. Should get that going.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have like a sponsor by Splitting Twigs, and then you pick. You're the captain.
That would be
Yeah,
awesome.
you can make the sheriff assistant captain.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, no, your dad would be, and then your mom. You can make sheriff can be one of the coaches.
That'd be a good coach to have.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and he protect you.
Yeah. So you have you're lined up with Brent Sopel a little bit. Tell us a little bit about that. I know you wanted to talk a little bit about what's coming up between you and Brent.
Oh, Brent's a wonderful human being. I encourage everyone to watch his documentary that's on YouTube, focusing around not just his career but beyond his career. Brent, is dyslexic and is doing a lot with mental health. Dyslexia is obviously something that is really close to him, as he has a daughter that has dyslexia as well. So Brent's he's just a real great friend of mine. We check in on each other on a daily, and I just Brent's Brent. I can't say anything other than I love Brent as a person, and we don't really actually talk a whole lot about hockey. We talk about life and we have a really unique relationship that I'm eternally grateful for. I know we have a clothing company that's coming out called Divine Source Matter that'll be launching in a couple of weeks. Brent has a CBD line down in the US. It's Divine Source Matter as well. So hopefully that can help people with their sleep, with their concussions, with other inflammation stuff or whatever. So yeah.
That's amazing. That's
definitely. So looking forward to that. I'm not only am I a Brent Sopel friend, I'm just I don't want to say fan. He's such a good person that and he's there to help so many people, even when he's going through the darkest moments, sometimes dark moments of his own life that he doesn't really talk about a lot, but he's always there for people. He's just such a solid guy. He's a good man.
So those are definitely the type of people we want around us. And Brent, if you're out there watching or listening, we absolutely would love to have you on the show.
He wouldn't watch. He wouldn't hear my voice. I'll tell you
that. That's awesome. So your documentary. So I know we spoke before the show a little bit. So we're actually going to try to post a link to the documentary so everybody who's watching can see it, because what a powerful story that was. I remember we couldn't stop watching it. We put it on in the living room, and literally within a few minutes, the whole family was in watching, and we were like glued to it. It was really incredible to see what you've been through.
Well, that's just scratching the surface. I actually was about 2 weeks after I crossed Canada on my bike. I thought they were kidding. National Geographic, they called me up and wanted to hear my story. It was it'd been kind of out there, and I gave them a glimpse. I was 21 hours in front of cameras in London, where National Geographic headquarters is, and they put a little bit of the good, bad, and the ugly in, but they left out a lot. As we speak, there's different things that are coming down the pipeline and discussions about other things that are going to tell the rest of the story and then keep it going. And it's you get a taste of it. So, and I lived it. I lived a lot of that.
Well, yeah. I mean, the whole story is basically based on your experiences, and it was pretty powerful to watch. Speaking of,
I think the main message there is to show that no matter what you get yourself involved in, if you can survive it, you can thrive afterwards by making a change. Just number one, you got to make the change within yourself, and then you can start really helping make a positive difference in the lives of others. And I think that ride across Cambodia was in 2012 I did that to raise awareness for human trafficking and child sex slavery. I did that on numerous occasions and did a lot of work around that topic, very sensitive, in Cambodia, Southeast Asia, Vietnam, whatnot. So I've ridden my bike across Vietnam on 3 occasions, Cambodia 3 occasions. So I'm not a cyclist, although I've ridden across a few countries.
I think that makes you a cyclist.
What's that?
I think that makes you a cyclist.
I guess so. I started. I guess my dad took the training wheels off when I was like 3. So I can ride a bike and a trike. But it meant a lot to me and opened my eyes to a whole world that I thought never existed, and really reinforced my commitment to be of service to others. And that's really how it shows up on a daily basis. I always just ask I ask God. I said, God, what do you want me to do today? Pretty much. And then whatever shows up. And back then it was I was over in Cambodia doing that, and it happened, and I was really blessed. I was told I was never going to be allowed back in the States again, and it was through service that the Department of Homeland Security found out that I was helping kids, and they gave me a pardon back down to the first of its kind, back down to the U.S. again. And that's where my daughter resides. I was able to see my daughter again. I ended up living down there for a little while in Los Angeles, New York, Miami. I was all over the map, for crying out loud. So I took advantage of it when I got the opportunity to go back down to the States, which such a big part of my heart is in the U.S. Even as we talk, there's a lot of me that wants to be down there right now, sitting with you guys.
Oh yeah, in Arizona it's gorgeous out here, but it's way too hot. It's what my brother had a football game yesterday, and I was sitting out there in a black hoodie with joggers on, and it just reminded me so much of why I chose to play hockey. It was like 100 degrees outside,
and I had to go for a sauna because it was like almost like -4.
Oh.
I'm exaggerating. It was like 17, but that's pretty cold when you go from like a big heat wave that we just had. So anyways, I got a little sweat in the sauna yesterday. So
that's what they were saying. Canada had a big heat wave last week.
Sean was talking about that. He said that it was like really hot.
Yeah, it's been extremely hot. So it's nice to have a little bit of rain, and saw some pretty cool skies last night, and had some thunder and some lightning to rumble you up a little bit, get me ready for the best podcast in the world.
Heck yeah.
Oh yeah. Yesterday it rained here too, finally, for the first time in a couple months, or like a month.
Yeah, it doesn't rain here very often. This summer we've had a lot of rain, surprisingly, but it's definitely hot though.
Well, there's I guess one thing that we can't control is the weather, and a few other things, taxes and death. But the weather's just been odd all over the world these days. It's just, lack of water. The trees are looking a little different, and these are days of drastic change. There's a lot of things going on out there that it's just like, really, what? But at the same time, you know what? You can use social media to your benefit for a positive. Make wonderful connections. Over social media. When things are one way, you have to adapt to another way, and that's all part of being resilient. And that's number one, is just showing up. I think a lot of it, sometimes it's tough. Even for me, I was a bit nervous coming onto your show today, Chase. But now it's you guys make me feel welcome. And then Sheriff jumps on there, says this, hello, so it's it's all about community. We need connection. Human beings need connection. That's it's especially for our mental health. It's really important. And that's why it's so awesome. You're on a team. When you're on a team, you feel that connection with people. Oh, there's Danny.
Yep.
Good to see you, Danny.
What's up, Danny? Welcome in.
Wonderful guy, Danny. He did a drawing for me that I actually gave to my mom Sorry, Danny, I gave your a drawing that you did to me, to my mom, but I'm sure she framed it and it's on the mantle. But, yeah.
Danny does some incredible work. I seen that picture yesterday as I was trying to put our little advertisement out for the show today. That
he's got such a big heart, Danny.
He does.
He's a great guy. Yeah, Sean and Danny together, and just everything that they got going on. I'm really grateful to know both those guys and call them friends.
Oh, absolutely. I think our little hockey family we have between all of us in this world is just incredible. We all kind of share the same outlooks on everything, and we all want to see the sport go in the same direction.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's incredible.
Use social media for good, folks. Thank you, Chase, Ryan, and the show for using your platforms for positive purposes. I definitely
really appreciate that. I mean, I'll go sometimes 3 or 4 days without doing a post or whatever, and I'll forget about it and just be like, I need a social media break. But, I really do my best to, sometimes there'll be a picture of me, then maybe 3 posts without me, but it's not about me, it's about we. And,
Exactly.
just like, just with these times, showing nature and, whatever I can do just to, I like to write, I have written a book before. So, I'm slowly working on another one. And, I try to write something positive that maybe people can actually, not just look at the picture, but look at, what I wrote underneath, because that's what comes from my heart. So.
That's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
So 2021-2022 hockey season. Who do you got? Go away.
Who do I got as far as taking the league championship?
Yeah. Who's going to win the cup this year, do you think?
Intuition is saying Tampa. Tampa for the presidents and Tampa for the cup three-peat. But you never know. There's a part of me that maybe Connor McDavid is on a super mission because he's such a superhuman that you never know. And he's got Draisaitl there as well. And they've made a few different acquisitions. Edmonton, maybe, you never know. I mean, who knows?
I think that Connor McDavid and Draisaitl are amazing, but I don't think they have enough talent there to put it together. Honestly, if I'm going to take anybody this year, I want to take the Lightning, but I really feel like it's probably going to be the Avalanche or the Canadiens. I think
Montreal's got a great team as well.
I think
sure. I'd love to see the Cup back in Canada for at least a year.
It's your guys' sport, and we're taking all the glory for it.
It's the world sport now. Yeah, now it's expanded. It's just as much your guys' sport as Canada's. It's a global sport. So.
Sandra, it won't be the Leafs. It won't be the Leafs.
As she's watching the Leafs play right now in person.
I don't think it'll be the Leafs. No.
I think it might be the Avalanche, because the Avalanche came pretty close last year.
They did. Yeah, and Nathan McKinnon is incredible. Well, their whole team is incredible. He's got the chemistry he's got in his line. He's a phenomenal hockey player. So many good hockey players. You just never know the way the puck's going to bounce, like I said. So, it's come playoff times, a whole new different season. Guys' attitudes and mentality changes. Everything changes. It's, people, the fans get more ramped up. The energy in the cities and the dressing rooms and whatnot. So you just never know where it's going to go.
Yeah. I mean,
absolutely.
It very well could go right back to Tampa, but I don't know.
Yeah.
They have the city of sports right now. They got the football championship, they got the hockey championship. They're kind of unbeatable.
They
right
almost
now.
got.
They're on fire. I know. It's Florida. It's something about Tampa, eh? Eh? I had to throw one of those in there, eh? 2 or 3 or 4 or 20.
Dallas is who the Tampa won against
2 years ago, I think. It was when Tampa beat Dallas. Yeah. Yeah, Dallas had a good run.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So is there any other thought-provoking, deep questions you want to ask me that you think that people might need to know?
No, just kind of like from your experiences, the good, the bad. What advice you have for young 14 and 16 hockey players coming up and navigating the ranks, trying to achieve that success, whether it be to play in the juniors and it's done, play in college and it's done, or to go all the way?
My advice is have fun. Have as much fun and milk that fun as long as you can. And if people say that you can't do it, ignore them and just believe in yourself, but really, really, truly believe in yourself. And the more that you believe in yourself and others, and it just I always say, actions speak louder than words. It's not what you say, it's what you do. And, I really, I stay in your lane, literally, or go all over the place, whatever. I don't know how you play.
Chase is a center, so he kind of goes everywhere. He covers all the ice.
Okay, as long as you're not a floater. But, just go out there, do your best. Do your best, and you can't judge yourself at the end of any shift. You're only as good as your last shift. You're only as good as your last shot, and you're only as good as your last game. So I think just keep striving to get better. And the better that, and helping your teammates get better, and not saying you're not good at this, but you could be better at this if you try this, and just always trying to be there for each other and help each other. And, that's pretty much keeping it. I always say, just keep it simple. I always complicate things, I still do that a lot. But when I simplify things and really just kind of slow down, even a fast-paced game like hockey, not just life, but hockey works out.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree with that. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Ryan, it's been amazing. We absolutely, definitely want to get that episode out right away so everybody can see what we were talking about. Because I'm telling you, if you guys have not watched this documentary on Ryan Phillips on National Geographic, you're missing out, because it is so powerful. It will suck you in from the beginning.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. I loved that episode. So good.
And
you can feel free to share it. Tell your TikTokers there, Chase. I'm sure I think you get a little following there. Maybe they might eat it up.
Oh, yeah. and then everybody be sure to check out Divine Source Matter when it comes out. I'm excited.
Yeah, that's about 2 weeks away.
You come out with.
I'll be sending you guys some a couple sweatshirts and a couple toques or beanies. Toques in Canada, beanies in the States. Some shirts, couple. Should I send a hoodie? Does it get cool at night? It won't say ski. But
all right. So we talked about how hot the weather is, the 120-degree days. Yeah. It can be 120 degrees. We'll be down at the lake and up at the campsite, and Chase literally will wear nothing but black hoodies everywhere. Even to school, he wears black hoodies. So
we'll get black.
Really rock that.
There's white on gold and then there's gold on black. So you're getting gold on black.
Oh, man. I don't know why I love wearing hoodies so much, but I do.
Awesome. Yeah, and so then we're going to be putting a percentage of that clothing line to a few different organizations as well. One is the Brent Sobel Foundation, and a few others are to be determined right now. But people will have their choice to pick what foundation they actually want to donate to.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so a portion of every piece of clothing will go to a certain foundation, and they'll know exactly where their money is going. So, and I'm a huge advocate, when it comes down to concussions, and I believe that more, centers, for not just athletes, but I believe a lot of brain centers should be actually, that's one of the purposes of behind the clothing, behind the mission of life, of giving back and whatnot, is to have more of places where athletes can go for care if they suffered say a traumatic brain injury or something that's really put them back. You know what it's like being injured, Chase. It's not fun, and it can get you down. So we're all about rising people up, and we all come from a divine source, whether you call it God or whether you call it the crane, whatever, the duck. I believe that we all have a lot of power in us just to keep, moving forward and doing special things. So I'm super grateful that I was on the best podcast in the world. And, I think that, you're definitely giving Joe Rogan a run for his money. 100%.
That's awesome. Well, Ryan, thank you very much for coming on. And I can say this definitely won't be the last time. We enjoyed this show
Anytime.
a lot. And absolutely want to have you back on again sometime in the near future to hear about your awesome release of your new line too.
Absolutely. Yeah. We can talk about that. We can talk about a whole nother book.
And I think the good thing is if I somehow am able to make this work to get your episode on that National Geographic show out there, and give
for sure.
a chance to watch it, to bring you back on and actually talk about a little bit more of that would be incredible.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we could do that. I'll send you over the link in literally soon as you shut me down.
Oh, there's no shutting you down, bud.
Then I'll fire it over to you. So and share away. It's all about sharing and caring. Hey, it's better to be nice and gentle than angry and mental.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we're going to throw you down backstage real quick, and we'll jump right back in with you here in a few minutes. All right.
All right. Cool.
Thanks again, Ryan.
You better believe it. Thank you kindly.
All right, Chase. We took a break and we didn't practice this yesterday. Your intros have gotten better, but let's see how your goodbyes are.
Okay, guys, thank you so much for tuning in today on episode 25. I can't believe it's already episode 25. I still remember my first episode. That was rough. But, guys, thank you so much for tuning in on the Splitting Twigs podcast with Ryan Phillips. And love your faces, and we will see you next time. Toodaloo.